Helltown, the nickname for an area in the northern part of Summit County, including Boston Township, Sagamore Hills, and Northfield Center. Boston Township is one of the oldest villages in Summit County. In 1960s, there was a nationwide concern for forests. So there was legislation put together for a National Park Service to purchase land to create more parks. In December 27th of 1974, hundreds of acres were designated a national recreational area in Boston Township. Once the government decided to buy a property, there was no stopping it. Owners were forced to relocate. One of these owners actually wrote on their home, "Now we know how the Indians felt." The government bought a house. It was either boarded up to be demolished or used as practice for firefighters. Unfortunately, the government fell behind getting rid of these homes, which left many of them abandoned. Passerbys, not really knowing what had happened, would just assume that the entire town mysteriously disappeared.
And now we will talk about the legends and the facts of Helltown. One popular belief that the reason that the government made everybody leave their homes is that they actually had a deadly chemical spill in the area, and these chemicals were thought to have caused mutations in the residents and their children. Well, the truth really is that there was never a massive chemical spill of any sort, and it was mainly people just making up excuses for the reason that the government would do something so cruel as to force people out of their homes.
One of the legends is that a local cemetery is haunted by a ghost that sits on a bench and will stare blankly into space. The truth is, this cemetery doesn't even have a bench.
If you haven't been to the cemetery, many people will tell you that it's a very dark place that winds up a cliff and is a treacherous place to drive your car. Well, in reality, it is kind of on the side of a cliff. We drove a mid-sized sedan up it, and it was perfectly fine. Now, you do want to be careful if you're getting outside of the driver's side of the car not to fall down the grassy hill, but it is definitely not on what I would consider to be a scary, dangerous cliff. And other people like to state that it's very creepy because the trees in the cemetery will move. Or the truth is that wind exists. Another popular urban legend around the whole area of Helltown is a giant evil python that slithers around. Now this one there is a bit of truth. In 1944, this python was seen actually multiple times. People believe that it may have came from a circus train wreck. One of the popular legends, of course, is that it was mutated by the government-spilled chemicals, which we said earlier is incorrect. But at one point in time, the Cleveland and Columbus zoos were actually offering reward for the capture of the Peninsula python, as it was dubbed at the time. And there's many accounts of it coming out of people's trees and scaring the livestock, said to leave tracks the size of an automobile tire. And then finally, in the fall of 1944, they looked everywhere to see if it had died, if they could find a corpse. But after that, nobody ever saw it alive again. So whatever happened to the python, who knows? But I don't think it's still alive today.
There are many legends that all pertain to a certain road called Stanford. One of these legends is about an abandoned house in the woods that always has a light on upstairs. The truth is, this house is actually a hostel that welcomes their guests 24 hours a day.
Another very popular legend is about the school bus that used to reside on the side of the road. Many people believe that you would see the ghost of children sitting within the bus late at night. Because these children were, you take your pick, murdered by serial killers, escaped mental patients, or a group of satanic or cult members. This bus really did sit on the road. However, it was actually used from a family that was having their house renovated nearby, and they stayed at this as a temporary place of residence.
One of the legends is of a haunted hearse that will chase you with its one headlight. Truthfully, there was an actual hearse in the neighborhood. It was owned by a family, and they would only have it out probably around Halloween time. The hearse can't really chase you, especially where those road closed signs are. It probably wouldn't fit.
Stanford Road also goes by another more ominous name, the End of the World. People believe that there are evil spirits on the road that will take over your car and try and force you to crash, and that it is a very dangerous place with many accidents and many deaths, and that there are, of course, satanic cultists that roam the road at night. Sometimes they will even form a human chain to trap your car and trap you from leaving. Where the truth is quite a lot simpler. People like to drive on this windy, hilly, and bumpy road very fast, late at night because of the popularity, and, well, they get hurt sometimes because of their erratic driving maneuvers. As far as a Satanist, there have been many people that have reported seeing cloaked figures, but this is more than likely just folklore and over-imaginations of the teenagers trying to find a thrill in the middle of the night.
Helltown has their own crybaby bridge. It's said that if you park your car on the bridge, turn it off, lock the doors, and walk away with the keys just sitting inside, when you come back, the car will be covered in dust with little footprints all over it, and the car will be running, but still locked. A lot of places have the legends of handprints or footprints on your car, but, you touch your own car. Dust and dirt cause those fingerprints and handprints to appear in your car. So who's to say it isn't just yours? Legend has it that the Mother of Sorrows Church is just a cover for a satanic cult. There are upside-down crosses adorning this church all over, and that there's an evil man that lives in the basement who has no face. Truth is, the design of the church is of a gingerbread design. So what you think is crosses is just architectural design. And the basement has offices and classrooms that the local townspeople can use. So perhaps you do see somebody without a face, but it's probably just a local person using an office down there.
So, while most of Helltown's legends are just myths that have been passed on by generation and generation to become spookier and spookier, that doesn't mean that the Cuyahoga National Valley Park isn't without its own real hauntings. In fact, most places that aren't in the Helltown legends are the places that you'll actually be able to find the most realistic ghosts. Are you interested in finding out more about these legends that have real, creepy historical facts? Then make sure to follow us on our YouTube page so you can see us go and investigate them and find out our own evidence if these legends are actually real or just a myth as well. But thank you guys very much for watching our video on Helltown.